Hello. So, thinking. I can't do intros right now because basically it's too difficult for me to do intros right now because whenever I want to record gameplay footage or not record gameplay footage, but whenever I want to react to a video that's pre-recorded, basically my OBS isn't working, so I have to use display capture, which makes it too difficult to do Paint as well because I have to click a bunch of buttons. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, hello. What's going on? So, basically, here's the deal. There's going to be a lot of battle content on the channel over the next 2-3 weeks, like a lot of battle content. I basically had a lot stocked up that I wasn't able to publish, and over the next 2 weeks I am able to publish some of them this week and then some more next week as well. So, yeah, expect a lot more battle content. I know that it's been kind of a drought of battles on the channel, and that's primarily because I've been recording stuff but just not able to publish it. So yeah, also, apparently 0% of my audience is subscribed, so please subscribe if you're watching this video. Thank you. Here's the context. This is the regional bracket of the Players' Cup. I have had a really nice run so far. I've actually only dropped one game in this tournament so far, and it's round 7. This is a double elimination bracket. The way that it works is, in each region, I'm North American region, we started with 256 players, which you had to qualify for to get in the first place via a Wi-Fi tournament. But the top 256 players in each region were put into a seeded double elimination bracket. The way double elimination works is that effectively, if you're in the losers bracket, aka you have 2 lives basically, but if you've lost one of your lives, aka you're in the losers bracket, you have to play twice as many games as the people in the winners bracket. So it isn't like you have 2 lives and it doesn't matter when you lose them. It very much matters when you lose them. This is the final round of winners for the tournament. It's not the final round of the tournament because basically the top 4 players will advance. However, the way that it works, because you have 2 lives, if you win this round, you are advancing to the global finals. However, if you lose the round, you have to go down to the losers bracket and play one more. Like I said, I'm feeling really good. I've only dropped 1 game all tournament, so I'm 12-1 in games at this point. So I'm feeling good. But yeah, so we're just gonna. That's kind of the context behind the match. So wait, this isn't right. Is this right? Oh, it is. Okay. Yeah. So here's the team preview. This is my regional bracket, my regional cup, regional tournament, whatever team. Cartagena with Assault Vest, Screens, Regieleki, Weakness Policy, Moltres, Dustclops with Eviolite, Tapu Fini with Specs, and Glastrier with Life Orb. Now, also, just a heads up that I haven't played this. I played this like a month ago, it feels like. Maybe a little less, but it's been a while, so I don't remember the match specifically. And you can see it's a very interesting matchup because the opponent also has Glastrier, Moltres, and Dustclops, and Fini. But it's Grimmsnarl and Amoonguss instead of Alecki plus Cartagena. So if I'm looking at this now, I'm thinking screens are good. The opponent doesn't have Intimidate, which is normally a sign to me that like Glastrier is pretty strong if they don't have Intimidate, and I don't even necessarily need Trick Room. So I do know game 1 I lead Glastrier. Screens look really good here. Cartagena I think could be good as well because it's good against Amoonguss, Fini, Grims. Oh wait, Cartagena beats this whole team minus Dustclops, so I'm probably thinking about that. Dustclops or Moltres is also a really strong Dynamax option here, but this Glastrier makes it difficult to commit to. So I think game 1 I do Glastrier, Alecki, probably Cartagena, Fini in the back if I had to guess. Yeah, and this is the lead. So I think honestly, like I can tell you what I was thinking. Obviously, I want to set Reflect up. But I think it's probably better to explain the play after I see what I chose because, like I said, it's been a while. So yeah. I think it's pretty obvious that my opponent wants to go for, they want to go for a Reflect and a Max Quake is what I would guess into the Alecki, because that way, like, they're Life Orb as well, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Life Orb. Yeah. So, I think that they're going to Reflect and Max Quake, if I'm not mistaken. I guess that's what I'm hard reading here. I also don't remember what this Grimmsnarl's 4th move is. I think it's Sucker Punch, but I'm not positive about that. I know it's Reflect Light Screen and Spirit Break. I think if it had Fake Out, I wouldn't have let Alecki, so I'm pretty sure it's not Fake Out. Also, our Glastrier are not speed tying. I'm under the assumption because thinking. I have more speed IVs on my Glastrier, so I'm going to go Volt Switch here. It actually does a good chunk of damage. It's got to be a crit, right? Yeah, it's a crit. 25% though is really nice. I go for Close Combat rather than Max Knuckle because Max Knuckle's weaker than Close Combat, and I think I've just committed to I want to stall the opponent's Dynamax out before I go for my own, I think, is my plan here. So I do switch into Dustclops into Pressure because, again, this is open team sheets, so there's no need to scout the opponent's items since you know them already. Close Combat's going to do another decent chunk of damage because of the Reflect, only, like, they still have half health remaining, but, yeah, I wouldn't have made this play if they were Weakness Policy. And they're probably going to Max Quake into Alecki, if I had to guess, yeah. So they do go for the Max Quake here. into the Aleki slot, which is the Clops now. And I take a little bit, like, I take a good chunk of damage, but I'm still hanging in there, which is good. So yeah, after this turn 1, I was feeling pretty good, truthfully. I was like, okay, I've used a turn of their max, I haven't used my own. I can switch, looking at this now, I would say I'm Pain Splitting Grimmsnarl and switching Glastrier into Feeny. That puts me in a pretty decent position, I think. Oh, I'm hazing, actually. Oh, I don't agree with that play at all. I think this should be a pain. I think there should be a Pain Split into the Grimmsnarl. Yeah, I don't like that play at all. I also don't like that I locked in super fast, but with all my games, I tend to lock in pretty fast. So yeah, I don't know exactly why I'm hazing here. They're +1 special defense, but like I'm planning on probably beating their Glastrier with my own Glastrier in the end because it's in close combat range. So I really don't like that play, actually, looking back on it. I would have liked to see Pain Split here. I mean, I think that I might go down to Hailstorm plus Spirit Break, truthfully. But there's no guarantee they go for that, truthfully, at all. So we'll see here. I'm just trying to think. So Glastrier does switch out here. Feeny does come in. Gonna get the Misty Surge up. Misty Surge isn't super important here. I don't think really either of us have any notable status conditions. I'm actually surprised I didn't bring Cortania to this. They go for Light Screen as well, so the haze here is really bad. I think I was hard reading a Max Knuckle, but I think Max Knuckle here would have been pretty... Yeah, like the Hailstorm to me seems, in hindsight, pretty obvious. So I think that was just a misplay, because if I'm able to Pain Split the Grimmsnarl here, then I get to waste one more turn of Max without giving like Glastrier anything relevant. And I think that would put me in a pretty nice position. However, yeah, it's at a haze, so that was a pretty bad play. I think I was hard reading a Max Knuckle, because if they Max Knuckle, I guess they could just KO me next turn with Max Hailstorm, although it would have been close. I still think that Pain Split has a better move there. So yeah, that was a misplay in hindsight. I think whenever you're watching matches back, it's important to identify your good plays, your bad plays, and then your plays that worked out. Your plays that worked out but were like risky, and then your plays that didn't work out but were good. So I think that was an example of a poor play because it really put me out of position. See now, because now I can't Pain Split. I'm just going for Nightshade, I suppose. Not really. It doesn't really matter. I'm going down regardless, and I go for Dazzling Gleam. I think here. I don't know if Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam is better. I think the theory is that Moonblast isn't going to KO the Grimmsnarl, so you may as well get some chip damage. Like a Dazzling Gleam will 2-hit KO most likely. But because of the special defense boost, which I'm pretty sure I forgot about, I actually do not get the 2-hit KO thanks to this Spirit Break. So I think Moonblast is probably better there. They're going to go for Quake again, this time into the Dusclops, going up to +2 special defense. So I'm not even sure if Moonblast would have gotten the 2-hit KO, frankly. So yeah, I think that's okay. However, I think that overall this position's pretty okay. They have both screens up, which is annoying, and I have some chip damage on my Feeny, and I don't have any screens up, and they've got like a lot of boosts. However, their Glastrier is in range of close combat from this range, and so and their Grimmsnarl's in range of 2 Dazzling Gleams, and even though it's doing like a decent chunk of damage, like it's getting pretty low. So yeah, and I'm faster, so I should be able to go to close combat Dazzling Gleam and put myself in a pretty decent position since they're out of Dynamax now. Alternatively, if I really wanted to, I could probably scout here, and protect Dazzling Gleam. I think that's a decent play since it's pretty likely Glastrier doesn't let me just, Glastrier doesn't just let me go for a close combat or a Max Knuckle here. High horsepower, actually. Okay. Actually, I don't know if that KOs. High horsepower plus Dazzling Gleam. I like that I didn't max here. I think that's fine. It covers a switch. I don't know if I was specifically like predicting an Incineroar switch in, or they don't even have Incineroar. Dusclops switches in. Okay, cool. Yeah, but here's where things like start to get difficult, and here's where my lack of foresight kind of hurts me. Because yeah, I stalled out their Dynamax. However, oh my god, that does nothing. They're gonna go for Spirit Break here into my Feeny again. So it was again smart that I didn't max. It was a good delay. But I don't have a way through this Dusclops and screens, which, you know, I played 2020. Like, I know how strong Dusclops and screens is, and, like, I have a -2 Feeny. I've got Aleki in the back, and my Feeny's low health as well. And, I'm basically going to try and solo with Ice Horse, which, like, I think if they didn't have screens up, was possible. Since Max Hailstorm does a fair bit, it should do, like, over, like, without, what am I thinking? Yeah, hang on, let's take a second. Like, I think if they didn't have screens up, Max Hailstorm plus Dazzling Gleam is a pretty good chance to KO, since, like, it should do, like, 60%, I think, the Hailstorm on its own. And then from there, I can probably win, but they have screens up, so even if I Hailstorm here, it's going to survive, and it has access to Pain Split, so it's going to be really difficult for me to remove this, this Dusclops. And additionally, I make a really bad play here, in my opinion. I I want to max because I do not. Why do I want to max? I want to max because I don't want to take a Spirit Break here, and I think there's a decent chance that I just could take damage with my Glastrier. Though honestly, so I go for Max Knuckle, thinking, okay, I'm gonna get the +2 attack boost, but I know my opponent is hazed because I have their team sheet. So this is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I think I'm probably supposed to Dazzling Gleam and Icicle Crash. Go for the KO on the Grimmsnarl, get Icicle Crash damage on the Dusclops. If I flinch or crit, if I flinch, I probably win. I don't think crit KOs. Okay, cool. Their last one move is Sucker Punch. Yeah, even if I take a Sucker Punch there, like, it's not the end of the world. I'm still at roughly the same amount of HP, you know. And yeah, like, yes, I get +2 attack here, which is nice. However, it doesn't matter because I'm about to get hazed. So yeah. And yes, Lucky's full HP, but like, I also think this is a situation where if I'd already taken a KO, this would be different. Like, if they were forced to bring in Glastrier here, and then I could go for KOs from there, I think it's a little different. But yeah, they actually, even though like Glastrier is a slow Pokemon, their Dusclops and Glastrier are both underspeeded, which put me at a real disadvantage here. So the speed advantage, or the fact that my Glastrier was faster, was helpful in the early game, but it was not helpful now that we're in Trick Room. And Regieleki isn't. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's got to be a spam call. Yeah, they go back into Glastrier, but like, yeah, I've already maxed now, and like, although I am +2 attack, and like, yeah, I can KO the Glastrier, they can just, their options of dealing with it are pretty, like, they have a lot of options to deal with it. So, am I going for a Light Screen here? There's no way. I think I'm supposed to Reflect here, because if I'm gonna, at least if I'm gonna target into the Glastrier, I think that my best bet is to go for Reflect, because if they're high horsepower, I'm probably going down anyway. So this will at least help me survive next turn. I also think the Protect from Glastrier is pretty obvious, but oh, I don't like that at all. Yeah, I don't want to switch. I think it's got to be Hailstorm Dusclops and Hard Read the Protect. Or go for Knuckle. Yeah, Knuckle's fine too. I don't know why I'm sacking Feeny here. I think I'm sacking... Oh, yeah, actually, I do know why I'm sacking Feeny. I'm sacking Feeny here because Feeny's kind of dead weight. At this point in the game, like, I'll go down to a single Nightshade, although, like, it's not like Regieleki is that much better. They're going to go for a Haze here, and presumably a high horsepower to take out my Feeny. Yeah, actually, okay, I understand the switch. So I have to switch there. It took me a second. I have to switch there because if they just go for this play, Haze, high horsepower, I'm forced into my Feeny next turn, and then they Nightshade, and then they, like, their last Pokemon can target my Glastrier. So, yeah, they go after my Feeny, they take out my Feeny, and then get an attack boost in the process. I will take them out in return, and it's now a 2 versus 2, and I have 1 turn of max left, which, like, typically I would consider a good position. However, in this position, I think is actually pretty bad. Because I believe their last mon is Feeny, if I'm not much mistaken, and yeah. I go back to +2 attack after being hazed. We can just skip ahead here. I'm pretty sure the last mon is Feeny. Feeny comes in versus my Alecki. But the thing is, these screens are still up. So, despite the fact that this battle feels like, to me at least, it feels like it's gone on for a while, both screens are still up. And they can Calm Mind, they can Protect. Yeah, Reflect and Light Screen still have 2 more turns left on the opponent's side. And I still don't have a way through this Dusclops. So, I actually kind of feel like the right play here is... What's the right play here? I think I have to get rid of the Dusclops somehow. So I think maybe even, like, they're forced to haze with Dusclops. So I think maybe the right thing to do is, like, Hailstorm Dusclops Volt Switch here, or yeah, Hailstorm Dusclops Light Screen maybe. I don't know, or maybe Quake Dusclops. I think Quake Dusclops and Volt Switch Dusclops, so that next turn you can Light Screen and Icicle Crash and hope for the KO. I think that's probably the best move here. Although honestly, I don't even know if that combination KOs. You might have to Hailstorm Icicle Crash, Volt Switch. It might take all 3. But instead of going for damage on the Feeny, like, I understand what I was thinking, which is that, like, Feeny goes down, maybe I can probably beat Dusclops in a 1 versus 2, but, like, I can't make this Feeny go down quick enough, and this Dusclops with Pain Split and Haze is always going to be a real thorn in my side. So, yeah, and this is where bulky Regieleki really hurts, because, like, I don't have any damage output. My Feeny's gone, my Dusclops is gone. Quake is going to do, you know, like, it's not horrible damage, like, no one's like, oh, that's the worst damage I've ever seen, but it's not great. It's not enough damage to make, like, get rid of this Feeny quickly either, is the other thing. So, I also assume this is the last year Trick Room, but I think that might actually be wrong. No, I think it's correct. Calm Mind comes out, and then Light Screen's also going to come out here. I mean, I understand the Light Screen. I basically made myself especially bulky to deal with this thing. And the Feeny, I believe, is Leftovers Protect, which makes it so... yeah, which makes it so that, like, I couldn't just double it because it could have just protected, although it wasn't likely, I think, but, like, it could have. So, yeah. And I think I felt like I had to max Quake because I think if I just got Moonblasted, it would have been bad. Oh, we're actually still in Trick Room. So, yeah, at this point, I think I just double the Feeny and try and take it out. Truthfully, I don't think it will take it out. Or, okay, I'm protecting. What am I doing? Last turn of Trick Room. No, 2 turns of Trick Room left. Oh, we're still so deep into Trick Room. Yeah. Okay, then my play of doubling the Dusclops didn't even work because I assumed Trick Room would end last turn, but they can just Pain Split. So I'm like forced to attack into this Feeny, even though it feels kind of futile. So I'm going to Protect here. I believe it's the last turn of either... I think it's the last turn of Reflect. But they're going to go for a Pain Split into my Lucky. Makes sense, like, just heal up. And Muddy Waters is, like, somewhat safe here because it covers for Protect. They go for Moonblast into the Lucky, though, which is a good play. I guess they didn't feel threatened by the Glastrier. It was honestly probably just because, like, the Alecki can't protect itself, and, like, Dusclops beats Glastrier in a 1v1, barring, like, some pretty ridiculous turns of events. So, yeah. Reflect goes down. So now Glastrier is at max power, and it's the last turn Trick Room, so I'm going to go for high horsepower and Volt Switch into it, especially since I'm Life Orb Glastrier. Like, I don't think that I can easily win this. I think what I had to do here was Icicle Crush the Dusclops and pray that Feeny protected, and then go for a, like, go for some luck somehow. I said, oh, okay, yeah, I like that. No, don't like that. Like, because I'm in a really bad shape. I'm never going to beat this Dusclops, even if I get rid of the Feeny. Like, if we trade Feeny for Clops here, I'll probably lose. So yeah, they go for Protect here. I honestly believe that if I had Icicle Crashed into the Dusclops here, actually it depends on the Nightshade. They could probably just Nightshade Glastrier. Yeah, okay, if I Icicle Crash Dusclops here, I think I have a chance at this. Because then next turn I can take out the Feeny, and they won't be able to take me out. And yeah, assuming that if I doubled the Dusclops, it was a 2-hit KO, which I think it would have been. Yeah, doubling Dusclops twice would have been a 2-hit KO, and then from there I can get an attack boost and maybe win the game. But unfortunately, I do this instead, which is I do not make that read. I think I felt like the game was lost, but I should have considered it my only out. Or maybe I should have just taken more time to think about it. Volt Switch crit may pick up the KO here, but yeah, it's not a good out, to say the least. Yeah. I think if you're in my opponent's spot, you should probably Moonblast, but Muddy Water hitting both is probably game over, like, confirmed, but if you miss both, you might be in bad shape, so I'd be curious to know what my opponent chooses here. It has been a while. Volt Switch comes out, does not get the crit. A critical hit would have picked up the KO there. Muddy Water comes out, and it misses the Alecki, so... yeah, if it had missed both there, I think I actually could have won this. But unfortunately, I go down to 83 HP remaining. I do not get an accuracy drop. I do hit a high horsepower. However, the issue is that I have 83 HP. I take 20 damage. That's 63 HP. One more will put me in Life Orb range. So I get an attack boost, which is nice. But yeah, the Muddy Water miss is lucky. If they had missed both, I think that this is winnable. But Trick Room goes up again. So now I have 2 Pokemon to try and beat this Dusclops, but they're both... After Glastrier attacks one more time, they're both in range of Nightshade. So I think I just go for an Icicle Crash Full Switch here because the Protect is obvious. And then if Icicle Crash crits, that's another chance to win. So I'm just playing my... Like, I'm trying to play to my outs, but as you can see, it's very difficult for me to get through this Dusclops. The delay here is... I don't know why. I'm probably just thinking about it. Maybe I'm calking. Close combat. Yeah, maybe not. Oh, interesting. Is that good? Is that good? That can't be good. Yeah, it's not good. I think if the situation was slightly different, like if Dusclops is... I don't know. I don't think that was ever good. They Nightshade into my Alecki. They don't want to risk a Protect from my Glastrier, because if I Protect Glastrier and I Volt Switch, then they could lose. Icicle Crash comes out. It will do a lot of damage because it is +1. However, it should live with like 10 or 15%. Yeah, like about 15 it looks like. So just barely... Oh, sorry. My Facebook. Yeah, and now, unfortunately, I have 8 HP less than I need to be, so I cannot live a Nightshade, so my only out here is to go for a triple Protect. I'm checking that there's 3 turns of light screen left. It's a frustrating position to be in, because I'm, like, so close. Like, I can see the end of the game, you know. I do wonder if maybe I should have close combated there. No, I shouldn't have, because, yeah, no. Yeah, and my only out here is a triple Protect. I think I'm probably trying to consider if there's nothing left. Like, I go down to 1 Nightshade, there's 2 turns left to Trick Room. I've used my first Protect, I need to go for a second one. And I actually get the double here. So for those of you who don't know, the odds of Protect the first time is 100%, the odds of it a second time is 33%, and then I think the third time is 1 in 9. I think it's 1 in 1, 1 in 3, 1 in 9. So to get a double Protect is already very lucky. To take a triple is, it's like basically impossible. Not impossible, but the odds are so against you, because it's a consecutive 1 in 3 and then 1 in 9. But I do fail the Protect, which is frankly deserved. It would have been funny if I'd gotten the Protect and then missed the move, but yeah, so I lose game 1. And like looking back on it, I think because the opponent didn't bring Moltres, I probably thought like, okay, they brought Dusclops, Horse, Feeny, Grimmsnarl. That's 4 Pokemon that get that don't have a good Kartana matchup at all. And it's not Will-O-Wisp and Dusclops or anything. So Kartana's looking pretty strong here. What do I actually bring? Okay, a lucky Cortana, Dusclops, Feeny. So no Glastrier this time. The Glastrier mirror didn't really work. I needed more damage output. So yeah, I think I'm assuming like I want to counter the thing that they just led, which is Grimmsnarl, Glastrier, and yeah, go from there. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and skip ahead to the battle. Oh, sorry, too far. However, they anticipate this, and they actually Moltres Grimmsnarl, which is very, 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 very bad into my lead because like they consider Reflect Up. And Moltres is like a Pokemon that has a really strong matchup versus Kartana. So I'm forced out here, and I'm thinking about this one. I'm like, well, I can go into Feeny, but they're going to get Light Screen up, and they can Nasty Plot here most likely. So I actually have to go into Dusclops here. I'm hard reading a Nasty Plot. I'm hoping that with the Light Screen boost, I will have enough health left to set Trick Room, and then from there, I can haze away the boost and try and win. So they go for Reflect. They don't Dynamax, which obviously is indicative of the fact that they weren't under pressure from Kartana at all. I could have hard read this maybe and gone for like Volt Switch and Max Steel Spike, and actually that might have been better. But they could have just maxed as well. I just really didn't want to let them get the +2. Because if they just max Airstream and I max Steel Spike and Volt Switch or even Electroweb, like it's game over. And yeah, like I don't know, it just wasn't going to be pretty. So in this position, I'm thinking, all right, like I need Dusclops to survive a +2 Max Darkness. So I'm going for Reflect here because the Grimmsnarl is probably going to hit me with Spirit Break. And like since Max Darkness at +2 is probably going to do like a ton of damage, I need as much help as I can to survive with my Dusclops. So yeah, that's the thought process. And there's a couple minute details in this game that I think are really worth noting. Because, yeah, they'll really impact how this goes. So they're going to max their Moltres now. This is their best option. They really need Dusclops. If they get rid of Dusclops this turn, it's probably just it would be almost impossible to lose, I think. I can't even paralyze them with Thunderbolt or anything. Like, it would be next to impossible to lose, I think, from their perspective. So I go for Reflect here because I don't want to Volt Switch anything, right? We can see Grimmsnarl is not moving first, which means that it is using Spirit Break on one of my Pokemon. Moltres moves next and lowers my Special Defense with Max Darkness. I go down all the way down to 19 health, which is not very much at all, which is really low. So it's going to come down to whether or not Dusclops, at least the game has a possibility of ending here if Dusclops goes down, I think. Even though I've gotten through 2 max turns, these screens are just too difficult to get through. They go for Spirit Break. I actually live on 3, so the Reflect is really clutch. And my Dusclops' EVs are also very, 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 very clutch. And I go for Trick Room here. So it's not the worst position I've ever been in. The Moltres is maxed. I'm basically giving up my Dusclops, but in exchange, like I got both screens up, they got Reflect up, and I get rid of their boost. So it's not the worst trade. Like my Lucky's going to take some big damage here as well. However, yeah, like it could be worse. I'm thinking about Pain Splitting the Grimmsnarl here because if they go for Spirit Break, like it could be okay, but yeah, it's not worth it in my opinion. Because if they just like it would only be worth it in the case where they use Max Darkness into a Lucky. Which is too risky, because their best move here is just to Spirit Break Dusclops, Max Darkness Dusclops, and that covers every option. So I go for Haze here. They're going to Spirit Break, most likely into Dusclops, if I had to guess. They actually hit a Lucky here. They may be hoping I Volt Switch the Moltres, which I'm obviously not going to do, because I'm not about to deal with +2 Moltres again. We'll do this policy. They go for Darkness, though, into Dusclops. That's their best move. I think it might have been slightly more optimal to Spirit Break the Dusclops and Max Darkness the Dusclops, just because that way the move would get redirected, but I guess they, just in case I Pain Splitted, they wanted to make sure that like they hit Regieleki is my guess. Or maybe they were hoping that I'd Volt Switch the Moltres and activate the weakness policy. But yeah, so I get through the Trick Room. Or I get through the Dynamax. I go into my Feeny, right? I got Misty Train up. There's 2 Fairy Weak Pokemon on the field, and I have both screens up, and they've Dynamax and they have no boost. So I'm thinking I'm actually not in bad shape here. The Trick Room being up is actually starting to work against me because my last 2 Pokemon are so fast. However, yeah, it's not the end of the world. Like, because I have both screens up. Oh, wait, no. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's not what I expected at all. Actually, it makes some sense. Okay. Lucky switches in here. I'm gonna go for. Moltres is still one more turn to max. I forgot about that. Yeah, I Moonblast and Volt Switch both into the Grimmsnarl here. I think I'm anticipating a light screen and hoping that hoping Grimmsnarl survives a Moonblast. Therefore, my Volt Switch won't get redirected into the Moltres and activate the weakness policy. Now, here's where things start to get really interesting. Keep in mind, this is the first time we've seen Feeny and Moltres interact. I would almost always expect Moltres to be faster than Feeny, because typically they're faster. However, like we haven't seen them interact yet, so this is where things get really interesting. Feeney moves second here, meaning Feeney is faster than the Moltres, and this is really, really relevant to the rest of my game plan. So Feeney's going to move after Moltres, meaning, yeah, they max darkness, etc., etc., meaning if I Moonblast that Moltres, the weakness policy will not activate until after the turn. Because I'm faster than it outside of the Trick Room, which means I'm slower in Trick Room, which means I attack after it. I get really lucky here, I don't pick up the KO with Moonblast, Sophos, which does not activate the weakness policy, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm in pretty good position. I have both screens up, they have both screens up. My Feeney is faster than their Moltres, meaning in this last turn of Trick Room, it is the last turn, right? It was Trick Room, Haze, I went down, okay, there's 2 turns left. Yeah. Their Moltres is at a max, so I can Moonblast and max Steel Spike it, or max whatever it, max Knuckle even, and it will most likely go down, because I'm Specs Feeney. My Feeney has full HP, even though special defense dropped, because of the screens, I'm not really in danger. Yeah, like, I feel like I'm in pretty good position here. So, Moltres is at a max. I'm like, okay, this is what I positioned for. I got my Feeney in, I got my Cortana in, I got my screens up, and it's my turn to Dynamax. So, I'm just checking 2 turns of Trick Room left, all my screens are still up. I'm going to Moonblast into the Glastrier, and, ooh, actually, I'm going to Moonblast Steel Spike into Glastrier. Okay. I thought I doubled the Moltres this turn. I guess not. Yeah, I guess maybe I thought the getting rid of the Glastrier was a bigger deal right now because... Actually, I don't know. Maybe I don't know exactly what I was thinking. But they don't switch or anything, so I'm going to max here. It's my turn to max. Mom said it's my turn to use the Dynamax. I'm using it big. Also, I forgot that I still have this stupid outfit on. I put it on stream, and now like all my recorded games are with it, so oops. Yeah, Cortana's going to Dynamax. Cortana, even though it's especially frail, with Assault Vest, Light Screen, and Dynamax up, it takes like no damage from things. They are going to go for a close combat, just get some damage off onto Cortana. It actually is a good chunk of damage, more than I expected, but it is Life Orb and super effective. So, yeah. They're then going to go for a, let's see here. Nasty Plot. Okay, so they're +2 again. However, I calc this, and like, I can do the, wait, can I do the calc? Hang on. Sorry, I'm going to pause this, because I'm curious. I think I calc this, and I was like, okay, I'm still actually okay. Okay. Oh, how long have I been frozen for? Oh my god. Dude, this OBS has just gotten so garbage. Okay, we're back. So, let's see, Cortana, I think my custom set is still in here? No, okay. Well, I was what? Just make some stupid blank set. Cortana, Dynamax, Light Screen, Assault Vest. I think I was 172. I think I had 52 attack. What does that leave me with? I can just check. Hang on. Hang on. Maybe I'll edit some of this out just to save time because I do that. I'm curious. Now I want to know like what the actual thing is going forward. Where's my team? Where's PC2 final? PC2 final. Okay. 180. Okay, I have 180. I have 180 special defense. So this is my spread. Jolly rest and attack 70, 72, whatever. 76. Versus Moltres. So this is Moltres. Let's say it's. Let's see, Moltres. Picolytic set. Let's just say it's something like this, but it's probably similar to my Moltres, which is somewhat bulky. Air Slash with these conditions at +2 only does 34%. So I have 90. This is max 92 HP. If you will give me 1 second, I will move back to this. Where is it? Here. So keep in mind the max damage from this thing is. Sorry. The max damage from this thing is. Where is it? It's 92 HP. So just keep that. Let's just keep that in mind going forward. So I Moonblast the Glastrier here. Sorry for the little tangent. Just a lot of damage even to screens because of the close combat drop, and then get a special attack drop. Doesn't really matter. Steel Spike for the KO. So it's 2 versus 3 now. I haven't got a Lecky back still. Moltres is at +2 special attack. Feeney's at -1 special defense. Air Slush, their strongest move, it does maximum 92 HP. Maximum. So like it can very well do like in the 80s or high 90s, right? Or low, sorry, 80, high 80s, low 80s, right? And that's assuming that they're max special attack, which like they probably have some bulk as well. Keep in mind that's also the second time Feeney has moved after Moltres, so I'm still under the impression that my Feeney is slower than the Moltres. Dust Club switches in. I've got 150 HP, meaning there is no world in which I can go down here. It's actually impossible for my Cortana to go down here from Air Slash, and I can't get flinched either. So their only out is to crit me. I do the calc. I know that Moltres isn't doing enough damage to me, so and my Cortana's at +1 attack now. and they can't haze without removing their boosts. However, let's see. What happens is Nightshade comes out into Cortana. I now have 100 HP left, aka still enough to survive. We were speed tying the whole time. I won 2 speed ties, and I had no idea. I just assumed it was slow Moltres. But it turns out this whole time, it was a speed tie. So my Feeny moved second twice, and then when I go to attack the Moltres, I move first. So what happens is, I Moonblast, I do a ton of damage, I activate the weakness policy, and now that figure I had about +2 Moltres does not hold true for +4 Moltres. They go for a Berserk activation, whatever, now they're +5, and my Cartania's not living this hit anymore. So Fire Breath comes out, that would have done even less than Air Slash. Oops, I'm back. Not interested in that. What the? It just kicked me out. And Cortana goes down. So, and Trickerman. So let's pretend that it wasn't a speed tie, right? What happens in that situation is that Moltres attacks, it does not KO Cortania. Cortania attacks, KOs Moltres. I'm now +2 Cortania and Specs Feeny versus Dusclops. What actually happened is that Feeny was speed tying with Moltres. I have no idea because this is the only times we interacted. The only times we interacted, like my Feeny moved second both times. So I have no reason to believe that my Feeny and Moltres are speed tying, specifically because my Feeny is 120 speed stat, right? Which isn't like it's not a natural number, right? It's a number that makes sense. I chose it because it was a number that makes sense. But it never occurred to me that somebody else would also be 120 speed stat, right? Like even my Moltres, which when I ran bulky, which is this tournament, I ran faster. I was like 134 speed stat or something, enough to outspeed Coco at +1, right? Like I have really no seeing my Feeny move first twice, which given it's a speed tie it's a 1 in 4 chance to win both speed ties. But yeah, seeing my Feeny move first twice, I'm thinking to myself, okay, speed tie isn't even on my mind. I'm worried about a critical hit. So it's something completely out of left field. And at this point, I don't have the damage to beat the Dusclops anymore, at all. So yeah, that's gonna be it. I would have been. I definitely would have. I think I could not have lost this game if we were not speed tying. However, we are speed tying, and so yeah, I would have even had 1 turn of max left. So this game would have been over if unless I got crit. Assuming my Cortania does not get crit, and assuming it's not a speed tie, I think this one was very winnable. And it would have gone to game 3 and would have had to see what happened from there. But yeah, they just take out my lucky here. My Feeny Moonblast actually does more than expected. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, their light screen's got to end at some point, right? How many turns are left of this thing? I guess I still have a couple turns left. If I win the speed tie here, maybe with crits and stuff, like my Feeny can potentially win this. Like it's gonna be really difficult, I think, but like it's still doable. Like it's not an auto loss at this point. However, let's see what happens. Okay, I win the speed tie. Yeah. So I mean, at this point, I'm like, okay, I have hope. Like it's winnable, right? But I don't. It would have to be. I think Light Scream would have to end this turn, and then I would need some crits in order to win. But yeah, with Trickering going up, the Dusclops has the advantage because it can always Pain Split until it's above 50, and my Feeny doesn't have Protect. So Reflect wears off, and my Light Scream wears off. Doesn't matter at all, truthfully. I wonder if I check how many turns are left. That seems like something I would do. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, to be fair, I don't really. Oh, my Feeny's just under 100 HP as well. Okay, sorry. So the thing here is, like, I didn't check the turns because I'm Specs. I have one option, and it's click Moonblast. The other thing here is that my Feeny is even if let's say for a second that it does the Moltres crits me and the turn proceeds as it did. If it wasn't a speed tie, my Moltres would have had, or the Moltres would have done less damage to me with Fiery Wrath, and I would have been above 100 HP. I would have been pretty significantly more above 100 HP, so Nightshade would have taken 3 hits to KO rather than 2, meaning if Moonblast from this range is a 2-hit KO, which it could be, I think. If Light Screen ends this turn... Okay, yeah. So, okay, it would have given me one more chance to crit. I would have needed one of the next 2 crits. Because, yeah, like, that's pretty much it. So, I think after Cortana goes down, I pretty much have no chance of winning this. But I think this was, like, a little bit frustrating to lose from my perspective because... Not taking anything away from my opponent, they played very well. I think the difference in these games is that they use their Dusclops and screens very well, and I didn't. If you look at both of these games, I sacked Dusclops their Dynamax Mon both times. First game is this Glastrier where I haze for some reason. Second game is because I lead badly and I'm forced to sacrifice it to get the haze to remove Moltres' +2 Dynamax boosts. Conversely, you see that they bring their Dusclops in pretty late into the game oftentimes and use it to stall out my Dynamax, and just like it's so difficult for my team to remove because the only thing that I have for super effective damage on it is my Moltres, which I didn't bring. So I think that is like I think that's what caused me to lose game one was the better Dusclops play on my opponent's end, and I didn't respect the screens enough. Nor I didn't respect Haze Dusclops plus screens, which is like just a stupid combo. Like I was using it myself, so I should have known how strong it was, but yeah. Looking back specifically at the matches, I think that the misplay, letting Dusclops go down early in game one, like the Haze turn is I think what cost me this more than anything because I needed to get more mileage out of my Dusclops before it went down. I also needed more damage on the Grimmsnarl because Grimmsnarl sticks around for a while and continues to be annoying as heck. So yeah, letting Dusclops go down in that manner was just really bad. And then game two, I think that like the lead was pretty bad. Though I do think I adjusted pretty well. Like I think my game plan was really solid. I think I played pretty well. I'm really happy with how I maneuvered stuff. I stall out the Moltres Dynamax, I get rid of the boost, and I'm in a position. I think I like I said, I think that like if we weren't speed tying and my Feeny was just slower, or if I lost that speed tie in particular, that I had a pretty decent shot to win this. I think the other frustrating thing is that because Trick Room was ending that turn, like if I even if I'd won one speed tie, lost the other, I could have had the choice to double the Dusclops that turn and just ignore the Moltres for one more turn and then choose to deal with it after because it was still a 1 versus 2. Like maybe Steel Spike Moonblast Dusclops and then Airstream Moonblast Dusclops if that does enough, or just go for another Steel Spike. Because I probably could have won regardless if I did that. And not bothered with the weakness policy, but because like I figured that it was a speed tie and that I was guaranteed to survive, it just seemed like the better option at the time. So yeah, I think just not realizing that it was a speed tie and never getting that information and having 1-2 speed ties already made it really... Is my camera frozen? It is. I had a feeling. It just made it really difficult for me to like effectively game plan because I was working with bad information, right? Like I'd seen my Feeny move second twice. I was at a weird speed stat. I didn't really think... I didn't speed tie with anything all tournament as far as I know other than this Moltres because 120 wasn't really a number that most people were at the time. So... yeah, so it was just like I lost this game and I was like I feel like I should have won that one. I feel like if I'd had the information I could have played better. Looking back on it now, this isn't something that occurred to me at the time, but maybe doubling Dusclops was the better play. I had like if I go for Moonblast plus Steel Spike into the Dusclops and then another Moonblast plus Steel Spike takes it out, maybe then Feeny plus Alecki is enough to win. Especially since I don't have to worry about the speed tie because I could just click Electro Web. Number one, I'm not sure if Moonblast plus Steel Spike KOs. Actually, Moonblast plus Moonblast plus Grass will KO because the Grass will boost. So yeah. But I think because the Moltres was +2, it just kind of freaking me out. I wanted it gone, and like they couldn't protect it twice in a row safely. So I figured Steel Spike Moonblast. Even if they protect, I can just Moonblast next turn for the KO. So yeah, like it was just like I had bad information, or I had imperfect information, and that's what more than anything cost me the game. So. Yeah, overall, like it was a little frustrating to lose, but I was okay. Like I was like really worried at this point because I was like I got to the final round. If I had won, I would have made it to the global finals, and I lost in a way that like I felt like I had a solid game plan. At least game 2, like maybe I lose game 3 here, but at least game 2, I feel like I had I felt like both games I had the tools to win, and game 1 made some bad plays and I got outplayed game 1, and then game 2, I had bad information and made a poor plan because I didn't have the full information, or I had misleading information, which is even worse than no information. So, yeah. So that's kind of the context. So these are the second and third loss I take in this tournament. I'm sent down to the losers bracket. So either in a day or two, I'll post the final match of the tournament, win or lose. And yeah, like you can see there, if I make it to global finals or not. But yeah, let me know if you like this content. I know it's a bit more. Stop freezing, please. I know it's a bit more analytical. A bit more like I don't know. Like, post-com is a little weird because you have time to stop and start, and, like, it's also weird to analyze your own match because, like, you at least should know what you were thinking or could have been thinking, whereas, like, if I analyze other people's matches, like, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt, you know, I don't necessarily know all the information, but with my own matches, like, it's interesting to look back. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it's interesting. I hope it's helpful as well to kind of see me analyzing where I was wrong, where I made mistakes, where things could have been better. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this. The final match of the regional bracket will be up soon. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Goodbye.